all the way down to Singapore, telling you all about fascinating creatures and amazing landscapes. I know that you're really going to enjoy these sets of lectures. Would you please put your hands together and welcome our new guest lecturer. Let's make him welcome George Sranko.
Are you ready for a wild time? Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming. Because what it is a river delta of the Okavango River flowing into the Kalahari Desert. It's the only one like this that I know of where a river flows into a desert and seasonally creates the flooding of the Okavango. So when you go to this part of the Okavango, you go in the canoe called the Makoro. And I have some photos to show you. This is how you get around in the Okavango. They pole you on these Makoro canoes up through the river. And there's just an incredible network of channels going through the reeds. Scar would say, whatever you do, when you go into the tent for the night, stay in the tent. Because we were in the middle of lion country and hippo country and you name it. So, and there was no fence around. So we literally, if we got into the tent, we stayed there for the night. But you know, this is what the shower looks like. And they fill it with warm water, and then there's a thing at the spigot at the bottom. You turn it on, and you get your shower. And so Baker told us this story. He said one day they were on safari like this, and a woman came out of her tent naked, running towards him. And he thought, wow, maybe she really likes my cooking. But it wasn't that at all. She was running because she said she was taking a shower, and all of a sudden there was no water, and she looked up, and there was an elephant's trunk. And the elephant had sucked all the water out of her shower. But it scared her so much she went running naked out. Well, Baker thought that was pretty neat, actually. So this is a photograph I took, and you can see how that elephant has his front foot sort of at an angle, and he has a very fleshy pad on the heel. And what he's doing is listening to infrasonic vibrations in the ground. But you know, sometimes if you're close to an elephant, you'll hear a rumble. And it's like this deep, deep chesty, but it's, we're just hearing the bare top tones of that rumble. There's an infrasonic part that we can't hear that transmits through the ground. So do you know what a dinosaur sounds like? That's a sulfur-crested cockatoo. And this is what they sound like in the wild. That's a living dinosaur. Because look at these claws. On both feet, the inner claw is like a stiletto. It's a dagger. And the whole idea is that these animals, these birds can defend themselves. And what they do is they aim that stiletto right at your midsection. There are the youngsters, and they are just the most beautiful. They blend in so well, the stripes. Now, tell me if that's a male or a female. Okay, I didn't hear. Male? Female? I think there's more males. That's a male. Have become the ones that have to look after the kids. The females lay the eggs, and she can go from one male to another laying her eggs. And that's it, job done. The males are the ones who raise the kids. So there's cassowary dad, stay at home 50 days with the eggs, They have to sit on the eggs. Mom doesn't even do that part. And then up to 18 months of looking after the kids. The cassowary has a very important role to play in the forest because it eats some of the big fruit. And some of this fruit is so big that only the cassowary can eat it. And they have a slow digestive system. So by the time they ate it, and by the time they poop it out, there's many kilometers. And so they're spreading the seeds throughout the rainforest. And there are so many plants that are reliant on the cassowaries for having the seeds spread around. So today's lecture is about William Strata Smith. And he's an early geologist. He wasn't even called a geologist, but he was looking at strata like this, layers in the rocks. And he was one of the first people who really started to make sense of what these layers meant when you looked at them. So along the coast of Britain, we have so many of these beautiful exposed cliffs. And for example, you think of the chalk white cliffs of Dover. Well, here we have incredible cliffs all around. But what William Smith was really adept at doing was interpreting what these layers meant. So William Smith had this amazing talent. He was able to crisscross England over the years. It took him about 15 years, and he would cover incredible distances, like 10,000 miles a year, on foot, on horseback. And what he was doing was trying to figure out what the strata meant as he was traveling. So he came up with the map on the top left and an indication of how the strata was tilted. So it's just an incredible feat when you think that we look at mountains and we look at layering, and it's still difficult to interpret what's going on with all the strata.
Let's go outside into the wild when the wonders hide. From the soaring birds to the rustling leaves, nature's calling, can you believe? Are you ready? Ooh, yeah. Are you ready for a wild time? With every heartbeat, feel the rhythm strong. Dance with the creatures, come sing along. Under the sun, all the moonlit glow. Every step you take, there's so much to